Hello, Dr. Rosita. Today, our presentation topic is academic vocabulary use across 2 semesters, a longitudinal case study of one writer's coursework. For the introduction part, the background is academic vocabulary is a key resource for achieving an appropriate academic register and precision in graduate-level academic writing. This study examines a Chinese international postgraduate student's coursework writing across 2 semesters in the Malaysian context, and the analytical framework. Its academic vocabulary is operationalized using the academic word list, alongside the nation's frequency brand K1 and K2 through lexical profiling. This is the research gap. While previous work links academic low-frequency vocabulary to writing quality, longitudinal evidence tracking change within the same learner over time remains limited. And this study has two aims. Aim 1 is to examine changes in academic vocabulary used across 2 semesters, RQ1, and RQ2 is to examine changes in high fluency vocabulary used across 2 semesters.
Moving to our literature review, this study is situated in Malaysian EMI higher education, where many Chinese postgraduates complete coursework in English. Prior research shows they face sustained demands in academic writing and EMI mainly due to language constraints. We take a lexical development lens because vocabulary change is the core indicator of L2 writing development. Longitudinal work suggests development is gradual and uneven, and the semester-to-semester change can vary by individual. To capture academic vocabulary, we use the academic word list, 570 academic word families widely used in research. AWL use can vary by task and genre, so it provides a focused but cautious indicator for our analysis. We also compare high-frequency vocabulary, typically the first and second 1,000-word family bands in BNC or CSL list, with AWL academic vocabulary. This comparison helps describe how lexical choices shift across frequency level over time. Our framework is incremental vocabulary knowing. Vocabulary develops gradually through repeated exposure and use, and the writing often shows slow cumulative change. This supports examining change across 2 semesters. The key gap is that research in this Malaysian context focuses more on students' experience than on longitudinal lexical development in a scientific coursework, and few studies combine AWL with a frequency level comparison in a within-writer design. So we ask, to what extent does a single writer's AWL-based academic vocabulary change from semester 1 to semester 2 coursework writing, and how does the writer's high-frequency vocabulary use compare with academic vocabulary use across the 2 semesters?
Hi, good afternoon, Doctor. Now I'm going to present you our methodology parts. Um, Firstly is the research design. So our study adopts a quantitative longitudinal case study design to examine changes in academic vocabulary use in one L2 English postgraduate students' coursework across 2 semesters. Um, why do we use this design? As The longitudinal design allows us to capture incremental lexical change over time and also captures natural writing development in high-stake academic settings. And this research design also widely used in second language acquisition longitudinal research, as shown in the picture DAN 2025. The next one is our theory. So this study is theoretically grounded in the incremental nature of vocabulary acquisition. which views academic vocabulary development as a gradual process shaped by a repeated engagement with disciplinary tasks, according to Schmidt and Schmidt 2022. Moving to data selection, our corpus consists of 4 academic assignments produced by a single L2 English postgraduate student, totaling approximately 7,000 words before cleaning. This includes Semester 1 assignments, a research article draft, and a formal proposal, which provides a baseline for initial graduate leveling writing. Semester 2 includes a research proposal and an academic critic, both demanding higher metalinguistic awareness and evaluative languages. Why do we choose these texts? All were produced under formal assessment conditions for academic audience, ensuring a consistent register suitable for tracking vocabulary shifts. Critically, these disciplinary specific assignments better capture expert and proficient novels vocabulary than other general topics, as Stan 2025 emphasized. Besides, to ensure data integrity, I follow this guideline to remove reference, direct quotes, and formulas to isolate the participants' original productive language. I used the vocab profile tool on the LexTutor platform. Um, I employed a dual framework approach. First, the academic word list by Cox Head measured academic vocabulary frequency and coverage as a percentage of total running words. This directly addressed RQ1 on AWL use changes. Second, the BNC/COCA frequency list by Nation 2017 and 2018 analyzed high-frequency vocabulary, focusing on the K1 to K2 bands, the most frequent 2,000 words families. I also examined the 95% and 98 lexical coverage thresholds, key benchmarks for functional comprehension and advanced language use. According to Relation 2001, the comparison logic is straightforward. RQ1 compares AWL coverage percentages across semesters, while RQ2 examines the shifting ratio between high-frequency K1 to K2 and academic vocabulary, reviewing how lexical reliance evolves. Finally, let's evaluate this methodology. Strengths include objectivity, the and the ecological validity is high because we are analyzing authentic academic writing, and this is a true longitudinal design tracking incremental development in a natural disciplinary context. Limitations exist, but we try our best to mitigate this. First is genre effect. Semester 2 includes a critic, but both genres demand AWL for argumentation. This reflects real audience literacy. Next is small sample size. With only 4 texts, the focus is on depth of an individual development, not generalizability. The third is topic bias. All texts are discipline specified, controlling for general versus academic vocabulary confounds. In summary, this methodology balances feasibility with rigor, providing quantitative benchmarks for individual lexical growth within a real graduate program. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Moving on to the results section, let's first look at the overall lexical profile of the coursework across the 2 semesters, as shown in Table 1. First, regarding the data set, we analyzed around 4,000 tokens from Semester 1 and 3,500 from Semester 2. These comparable sizes allow for a valid comparison. There are 3 key patterns. First, the high-frequency vocabulary remains the dominant backbone of writing, staying stable between 76% and 79%. This is expected as these words provide the necessary grammatic structure. Second, we see a clear increase in academic word list usage, rising from 11% to 13%. Third, the percentage of off-list words dropped significantly from 11% to 7%. This suggests the
writing become more controlled and standardized over time. This brings us to key finding 1, which answers the research question 1 regarding the extent of academic vocabulary change. The data shows quantifiable growth, while an increase from 11% to 13% might seem small. In lexical analysis, this represents a tangible shift towards a denser academic register. Furthermore, the significant drop in off-list items indicates a form of lexical standardization. This means the writer relied less on proper nouns or non-standard terms and started using more recognized specialized academic terminology to express ideas. This is a clear signal of developmental growth in meeting disciplinary demands. Next, to address research question 2, we examine the relationship between high frequency and academic vocabulary. Table 2 compares their proportional distribution. Let's take a look at the ratio. In semester 1, for every one academic word used, the writer used about 6.7 general high-frequency words. By semester 2, this ratio narrowed to around 6 to 1. This shows that the gap between general language use and academic language use was closing. Academic vocabulary was taking up a larger share of total lexical output. This leads to key finding 2, a rebalancing of lexical resources. It's important to note that despite the rise in academic words, the high-frequency core remains stable. The writer didn't abandon the basic words; they are crucial for fluency and coherence. However, the tightening indicates a shift in reliance, which means the writer became more efficient. He was able to maintain structural flow while increasing the density of professional terminology. This signals a move towards a more expert and professional writing profile.
This is the discussion part. The AWL coverage increased, including a denser academic lecture register in later coursework. Given the within writer semester-to-semester design, this rise can be interpreted as incremental development through exposure to course readings, journal models, and assessment feedback. And findings suggest a rebalancing between high frequency and academic vocabulary rather than replacing the high frequency base. In K1 to K2 remained dominant and rose slightly, supporting its role in grammar and coherence in academic prose. AWL became relevantly more prevalent, and this suggesting layering academic lexis onto a stable high-frequency core. Moving on to the off-list results, this slide highlights an important change and a caution. First, the proportion of off-list items decreased from 11.81% in semester 1 to 7.07% in semester 2, which may indicate greater conventionalization in the later assignments. However, this finding should be interpreted carefully because off-list proportions are often topic and genre sensitive. For example, different task demands, such as critical writing, may naturally encourage more conventional academic phrasing. Overall, the decrease is meaningful, but it needs to be read in relation to genre and task contexts. Building on the discussion of the results, this slide summarizes the key implications. Theoretically, the findings support an incremental view of L2 academic lexical development. AWA increases while L1 to L2 remains dominant, which is consistent with layering rather than replacement. Practically, vocabulary support may be most effective when embedded in genre-based coursework instruction, where academic lexis is used for claims, evaluate evidence, and organize critique. Finally, as a pedagogical tool, lexical profiling can be used diagnostically, such as tracking AWA density and off-list items, to guide targeted feedback and learner itself monitoring.
To conclude, the main strength of our study is the within-writer two-semester design, which helps capture a clear development signal. Using authentic coursework in AWL plus frequency profiling also makes the analysis transparent and replicable. However, as the single case study within limited tests, the findings are not generalizable, and cross-semester topic or task differences may affect the results. Finally, list-based profiling cannot assess appropriacy or phraseology, so future research should include more writers, more time points, and qualitative triangulation.